Hello, my Cat Tarot friends. This is Cat, and this is like my introduction to the X spread, which we're going to actually look into today. So please, if you haven't been here before, or if you've forgotten why I'm doing this, just spend this couple of minutes to view it. If you are already familiar with it and you're following the series, check down in the description and you're going to see the link that you can click in and just move on to the reading for your sign. So what is this? Every sign is going to have exactly the same header. These are just the chapters. Just imagine like in a school, you have to write an essay and a teacher kind of gives you, well, these are the chapters you need to cover. I have developed this spread. I call it Cat Tarot Knows X spread, but I'm also applying this to relationships because for relationships and people who need to inquire, I will just remove the knight and I'll put a king. Also, if there are two women, I would put two queens or two kings or two knights, depending on who is the couple, who is the person inquiring. Since many of you who are listening this X spread ask me to do this reading for them, I'm actually putting it on a special, so check it out on my website www.cattarot.ca. under book your reading, just scroll it down to basically X spread. Also, if you are on and off relationship, this is going to be spread for you, because what it does, it gives me slices through the past, through present, that I can actually connect and check what might happen in the future. So why am I choosing these 7 cards? It kind of really, I spent lots of time getting to this, so it was not an easy process, but each of them is giving me a category that I want to figure out in order to figure out how your relationship works, and if can it work at all. Sometimes the most beautiful couplehoods just don't work out, and sometimes you see couples that you're wondering why they are together, and I think the 7 categories are going to explain that for me. So the very first significator, the Magician, in this category, I'm going to find out what are the tools you're given as a relationship. For example, if you're baking a bread, you need flour, you need salt, you need sugar, you need yeast, you need baking powder, I don't know, eggs, and then you can put extra ingredients. You can put raisins, you can put cinnamon, you can put seeds, right? So what if you only have water and bread? What if you have all the ingredients and you don't have water? So if an essential ingredient is missing, no amount of work is going to make this possible, right? So I'm actually trying to see here if this relationship was ever a starter. So the second card, Temperance, I am using that reversed purposely, because in the upright situation, Temperance is basically turning you into light. Everything can actually be made in this situation. Like there is a growth, there is a connectivity, and you see the angel is putting 2 different things together, just like 2 people have to come together. So when this usually comes in a reading and talks about moderation, balance, okay, the couple got together. The reason why I'm in this category looking in the reverse situation is because I do want to see what is unglued in this relationship, because that glue kind of sticks us together even if we have bad times. So these kind of like are categories that really have to be looked at if this is a starter. Now this is going to be one significator for one partner, and this is going to be a significator for another partner, and this is going to represent the energy and the communication and connection between the two. So how he sees you, how he sees himself, how she sees you, how she sees herself, right? And what's going on, what's kind of like attention, what's kind of expression, what kind of love is in between is going to kind of come in these categories. The Judgment is one of my 4 karma cards, and I really want to see here, okay, with all things given, how did you make that bread? How did you make it work up to this point? What is karma saying? Are you fulfilling the promise of this relationship? Is karma saying run? Is karma saying stay? Sometimes you get really surprising results, because sometimes the connection is karmic and people are supposed to kind of fulfill their contract and fulfill their destiny. And the very last category is very pragmatic category, and this is the one you want to know. Hey, are we getting together? Are we not getting together? Is there a next step for this relationship? What is the quality of this relationship? Keep in mind that sometimes I will tell you, yes guys, you will get together, but sooner or later you're going to run into different problems and you have to work on that. So when you take a private reading with me, I kind of discover all of that. So let's jump into your own readings and let's go from there. Hi Libra, because it is your birthday, so your sign is going to be the first for the following month. So let's jump into your reading first. So the cards are shuffled, so let me just go and see what kind of tools this relationship had. First, we are going to get some foundation, and then we are going to go for each 10 days in a month to see what might develop. The foundation, well, the relationship you're asking has been very hopeful from the beginning. You kind of like had a feeling that this was the person. You kind of like really embrace that, and there was a communication, there was a feeling of, you know, finding that star mate, not soulmate, star mate, that this is kind of like cosmic. Okay, this temperance that actually has to be reversed is the glue, the wheel of fortune, some kind of luck. You kind of like felt that maybe things were not going your way. This is also karmic card. It's the last/first cards of the upper major arcana, which are kind of like a bigger lessons to learn. And this is kind of to understand that things can actually turn, and maybe this is what has been happening with you guys. Things were kind of turning on a maybe instant, on a flick, and that kind of like created instability. Kind of like, it's kind of weird that this is happening and coming out in what needs to be glued category, that, you know, the essence of healing and connectivity was there, but the luck was not with you. So one of these guys is significator that you have to figure out. So I'm going to give you both. Okay, so how basically he or she felt about you, partner felt about you, seeing you, is kind of like maybe you were carrying some heavy stuff at the time and you were in the process of kind of releasing that. Your process of organizing yourself, kind of like seeing this better shape. And this is definitely related to this part. Maybe you have been going through some kind of unlucky period that you needed some kind of healing and you needed kind of progress on some level. Let's see the communication. The communication was there, but when you have the Three of Wands reversed, this Three of Wands is talking that, wait a minute, you're dropping all these burdens, but what is the goal? What is the vision? What kind of things you do want to create? It's kind of great to have a really high aspirations, but you don't go from 0 to 100 that easily, right? You have to have the very pragmatic steps. And sure, the first step is like, you know what, let's drop what has happened, all this kind of like bad luck and stuff, let's leave it behind. But this is telling me this was more or less just kind of a floater. It was not really having a destination, at least in this moment of time. So how he felt or she felt about, you know, herself, himself. You see, that was also a feeling of being stuck. So it looks like the two of you felt that both of you have been, you know, met on some kind of intersection, and both of you needed healing. Your partner really had some kind of fear. Maybe they were unavailable, maybe they were not communicating well, and hence both of you were going through things that you couldn't formulate the vision, and that kind of would explain why these two cards are showing up. So what did the karma say? Well, karma said that, look, the Empress, I don't know if you guys are a mother, or if you're like a really womanly woman, then it's saying, look, you had to actually, through this relationship, live to your potential. Because look, the very second card is one of my 4 karma cards. The Empress also can talk about him trying to make you live up to expectations of being the perfect woman, and being that mother and a child and everything, package that can come to him. I mean, that's kind of like this position, all or nothing kind of a partner, right? And that can kind of like feel weird, because nobody's that perfect, and living up to that expectation is kind of difficult. But also this tells me that he did see you as sexy and attractive and alluring, and the Empress does represent Libra, so kind of like you have been in your full glory, Libra, in this particular relationship. But this guy was like blindfolded. He kind of like couldn't really like see you entirely. Like when you're blindfolded, like you don't get it entirely, and you were there for him. So the relationship was starting. Look at this. It had a potential. So let's see what you did with it. So we are going to come now to the, like, up to October the 10th. But if you are seeing this at any other time, this is meant for you. And kind of like this still can apply to your own energy, because what basically is about this is the vibration that you're attracted to. So let's see what basically is going to happen up to October the 10th. Look at this, the Knight in the shining armor, Knight of Cups. It's coming into the glue kind of, pardon me, into the tools category. This is amazing. But it also could be a little bit, mind you, it could be a little bit syrupy, I meant to say, but you Libra guys, you live for the romance, right? So this is kind of ridiculous. You actually wouldn't even take a partner who wouldn't kind of like be sophisticated, who wouldn't be special. So let's see what needs to be glued. There is a feeling of instability. There is no control. There is the issue with finding yourself who you really are, and maybe this person is making you into something that you basically are not meant to become, right? It's, you know, it's great, it's like, I mean, beautiful love story, but are you going to lose yourself in that story? So let's see how you are seen here. Well, this is kind of like air. Knight of Swords is a fighter, somebody who has no fear, somebody who is leading with an intellect. He kind of like do see you maybe as a little bit harsh. That's kind of unusual, because generally Aquarians kind of get this reputation. But you're saying maybe exactly what I was saying here. Hey, this is great, all these beautiful romantic things, but I need to kind of like reassess certain facts, and maybe if this person was not forthcoming before, now you actually really want to know your truth. Also, you are really now fighting for yourself, for your own stability, to kind of get a control and get a grip of your own life. The communication, wow, it is either no communication or there is a turbulence. There is a need to get out of the space that you resided in. And I don't talk about your own apartment, your own house, your own kind of like living quarters. I'm talking about the system that you have built. You know, there were some kind of burdens that you dropped, but somehow you kind of got better, and you felt this romantic kind of energy and creative energy, and you kind of have been taken by this romance and by this kind of like illusion of, well, you know, he's going to just like, I mean, gallop into my life, and we will live happily ever after. Because we have the Empress, but we also have the Emperor, and one is up, one is down, so you are not together. And this is talking about the turbulence, but it's also good turbulence. Whenever the Tower comes out, the Tower is always talking about needing to save things that work shock, because certain things haven't been built on a proper ground. So this can also mean epiphany. This can also mean, okay, getting some kind of understanding about everything that has been going on. Maybe you're going to see this person completely in a different way. It is like some kind of surprise, and something will be happening really, really fast. You have like these 3 incredibly fast moving cards over here, right? So whatever this is, guys, this card tells me unexpected events will be very interesting. But even though they might kind of like be a total paradigm shift, right, or sudden upheaval, also that's going to be very interesting, and it's going to offer opportunities for positive transformation. But you have to kind of watch this with your eyes open, because it might feel that this is not done in your best interest. So remember, we have 2 ears, 1 mouth. The reason for that is we need to listen twice as much. How many of us do that? Because we are just waiting to jump in and find that space in between the words from the other person. Try to kind of like completely take a different approach here. And this is saying that you might yourself come on and strong and kind of try to verbalize your own things. It could be even clearance within yourself. It is kind of coming in your own power, but almost like an earthquake. It's a shakedown that basically happened to you. It's unexpected. As far as them, they're like dreamers right now. What the heck I want? Well, do I want her? Do I want this person? Or, well, do I want this temptation? Or do I really want to focus to work? Do I want to focus on building my wealth? On feeling glorified? Of feeling spreading fear? Or do I really maybe don't even know what I want? It's kind of like, I do have to say, just like the Knight of Cups, a little bit of infantile energy, I have to say. It's nothing wrong about dreams, but these are lofty dreams. You have to kind of ground your dreams. So we're going to see if this person is grounding at some point. Look at this. Karma is saying you guys are checking each other out, or at least your partner is checking you out on social media. This Page of Swords always talks about spying, but look, 2 of them are related. These are kind of harsher energies of air. You are soft air energy, but at this point you'll be dealing with some kind of harsher truths. And if you are communicating with this person, if there is a communication, it's going to be a complete disconnect. You will feel like a real bee, right? And they will just be kind of like shocked, because almost like each of you kind of like are speaking different language at this point. And you see, this is what it is. It has to be defined where this is going, which kind of like was something, a major flaw in the very beginning, right? So look, I'm offering you this, and then I'm offering you this, and I'm offering you this. No, 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 no. Look at this. I'm protecting my heart chakra. How about this, sweetie? It is cups still, but you know, this card is called luxury in some decks, meaning you have so much that, hey, you know, nothing is good enough for you. On the other hand, you can look at it that somebody is really, really waiting for really what they think they need. In this combination, I kind of see him waiting for that perfect woman. Well, good luck with that. Maybe she's made out of plastic, but there is no such thing, right? So let's see October 10th to 20th. See, there is a sadness. So this is moving the next step. Okay, I rejected everything. And I don't like this card. The reason why I don't like this card, especially because it's coming in your ingredients category, in your tools category. So you don't need a bad ingredient. And this ingredient means tears. You see, the soulmate in tarot is represented with 2 cups. We have 5 cups here, but 3 of them are spilled and 2 of them are still there. So this person, just like we've seen here, is still looking for something unachievable. You are actually dealing with a partner who just like is like a child, like he did not grow up yet. So why doesn't he turn around and give you a chance? Because that's what this is saying. This person prefers to dwell into some perceived pain. So let's see the glue that needs. Okay, again, this is kind of linking to this epiphany or this event or stability. There is going to be something that can create you very unstable, whether, you know, this rejection or perceived rejection or having this discussion which is not that great, and it's going to be some kind of discovery that's not going to feel kind of like really as the nicest thing of a day. And as a result of that, there is this self-protection. This is talking about walls being built. This is talking about, look, I'm also protecting my heart, because fours are generally about building, right? Fours are generally about stability, but fours are kind of very clinical, right? This is kind of when you build a foundation of the house. Nobody falls in love like in a foundation. You fall in love with how you decorate living room and how warm is your home. But this is talking about laying down foundation. And look at this. Both of them are here protecting their heart. And this guy kind of like have this cold exterior. So this is kind of dealing with more or less analytical issues more than anything else. So at this stage, you will be actually protecting yourself, because you are starting to feel, well, wait a minute, this person can hurt me and I have to protect what I have, right? So let's see the communication. Queen of Pentacles. Okay, so this can talk about getting grounded. This can talk about kind of like trying to figure out which path to take and what can be grown from this point on. But also this can mean that this can also mean a wife quality, because it is related to the Empress. As far as communication is talking about, okay, so how serious are you? Maybe the questions will be posed. And look, they are very attracted to you. But when the Devil shows up in a reading, which is kind of very similar card to Lovers, only thing is like it's kind of really hard to find this door in the dark. When the Devil reverses, it is saying that, okay, this person has been, I don't know, let's call it possessed, even though it's not the best choice of words. This person has been guided with a path, or has been on a path that led to nowhere. It was just a precipice. It was like not adulthood. It's not going to the light. It's not serving like your needs, but like, but never mind, it didn't serve their needs. The Devil means that we are kind of like looking inside of ourselves and finding out, oh, holy smoke, this is what they did. I am completely oblivious. And now you are getting the understanding, and you have to kind of get it in order to heal it, right? So in a sense, it's a step forward, because like you started, guys, with healing, and this person actually didn't heal. This person kind of like is backtracking. Look at this 8, 7, 6, right? This person is kind of like stepping slowly behind, right? But this person is doing this because they can only engage on a possible sexual level. Right now they kind of are torn, and again they are going into this perfect woman with a perfect sexual attraction, with a perfect looks, and you know, somehow they feel they are entitled to it, because that's the card of entitlement. Karma is saying, look, you know, with this relationship, this is a huge potential of missed opportunity, because this talks about building, this talks about moving further, right? Look at this, there is this gateway, and the gateway sure shows a mountain. A mountain is something you need to climb. You still don't know the outcome of this scenario, but you sure do know that in the upright solution you're at least building, you know, one brick at a time. When this is reversed, this is saying, okay, wait a minute, why are you not even trying to build small things and see where they go? It's almost like that this partner wants all or nothing, and all to them is like something that at this point in their development is unachievable, and they don't get it. they kind of like still believe, because the devil gives you programming. This is the bad software. This is the bad virus. So it's almost like, I don't know if you guys saw this episode of Friends. And for those of you who are younger than me, I apologize, but just Google it. When Chandler and Joey did get some kind of free cable programs, and it was all porn. So literally they were like so brainwashed with this porn that when they order pizza, they thought the person is going to show up just in their negligee and just like try to offer all kinds of favors. So it is kind of like that messaging, that brainwash, this virus that kind of like gets you like weirdly stuck, and then you wake up from that kind of like trance, you're almost shocked and embarrassed about yourself, and hence you lose the opportunity, because the other person is saying just wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, and they're not waking up. And by not waking up, they're sort of like hurting you, because they're sending you a message that you are not good enough, and that's the part of the devil that kind of is hurtful. And there you go, like there is some decision that will be imposed, right? This is like also blindfolded just as they are, and you're dealing with a passive person, not passive aggressive, just passive, a dreamer, and somebody who just waits for a decision to be rendered on them. And this is kind of making you sad. You sort of like know this on some level, but it is making you sad because you kind of like don't want these decisions to be final, and you don't know what kind of decision to make if you cannot move and progress, right? So let's see the last 10 days of October. So there you go, there is kind of clumping up. Look, there's another 4. So I think with now 4 4s being here, like we have 5 4s, well, we have 6 4s actually in a deck. This is telling me that some reflection and gratefulness to everything that has happened is needed. Even though if your situation is not that desirable, just don't fret. This is telling me that just go inside, because look, maybe even you forgot that you're crying over spilled milk, that by sticking around with this partner and not cutting it off, you're linked with this person, because look at that robe and cloak, right? That is not seeing that there is the bridge to this happiness. You just need to turn around, and you need to give a chance to yourself. So this kind of like would kind of go inside, because this is an emotional, and this is talking about thoughts and the processes, right? And here you guys are really good. You are an air sign after all. It is meditation, prayer, getting it right. And that's going to be really linked to that epiphany that you had. But it was so turbulent that you just had to quickly react, and all the balls were dropping. But now you are actually starting to sort things out. As far as glue, look at this. You have the entire triptych. You have like the Page of Swords, you have Knight of Swords, and now you have King of Swords. So this is telling me that, you know, there is absolutely no glue anymore in between. And look at that. You like, there's another 2 that we have, kind of like it is you who is seen, like, look, you just actually don't find that this person is good enough for you. And I know that maybe right now at the time of asking, you are hoping for being with this person, but you're going to see that this world that maybe at one point you wanted to build with this person, it doesn't look that desirable. You're kind of saying like, wait a minute, I did want a child with this person, but I didn't expect that this person is going to be a child. So off you go, kind of a thing, right? So there you go. It's coming to a natural end. And death means you have to give yourself opportunity to grow, but the growth here has stopped, and especially because these 2 cards are now neighboring. As far as them, they'll continue in their sloppy ways, right? They're just not paying attention to the details, and they are meandering through life. because this card is asking for you to ground yourself. It's an 8. It's 4 is like the main floor, and 8 is like, I mean, the second deck, where the best rooms, the most comfort rooms in the house are residing. They don't even pay attention to it. You guys are Libra. You guys need this power, and you need this motion, you need this beauty, and you need this feeling around you. This guy is just not, or this person is just not giving this to you. And Queen of Cups. Again, karma is saying that emotions need to be rebalanced, recharged, and it is time to abandon this road. This is talking about crossroads. This is talking about, okay, this kind of did grow to some kind of level, but I never wanted a shrub. I wanted a tree. So do I really want to continue working on it, or maybe I'm going to find a different soil, aka a different partner? So guys, it is actually all good. You kind of are going to get full understanding that maybe you are mourning somebody who actually just doesn't deserve it in the first place. And just the category here, what can be done with this, is telling you that really clearly that this person did give you something that you really liked, and it was like romance. It was kind of fun, but it was not sustainable for this person. It's not who they are. It was like who they fell into. It was the acting gig. They wanted to present themselves as just like great, but they just couldn't sustain it. Because the question is like, and you were questioning them, and that's where things started to go kind of like on the fritz. Hey, what kind of person are you? What kind of like can we get from here, from this point on? So guys, these are not the greatest news, I know, but I think it's for the best if you are the one who are actually getting it. But this is a general reading, so for your personal reading, this is on the special. So check out my website, www.cattarot.ca, contact me, and kind of like let's go from there and check your own situation and see what is going to be happening in your particular case. And until the next time, guys, I love you. Take care.